ago in Oklahoma City, there was a basketball game going on between the Utah Jazz and the Oklahoma City Thunder that they were 2 minutes away from tip-off, and the announcer came on the speaker and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, there's been a case of COVID-19 that's been discovered by one of the players. This game is postponed." And with that one announcement, a year ago this week, all professional sports stopped across the entire country. And the country, for a moment, woke up and realized this is more serious than we thought. And everything shifted. Within a week, the United States had shut down for 8 weeks. And we went into lockdown. At the beginning point of that, this Congress came together in a bipartisan way and passed something called the CARES Act, $1.6 trillion, an enormous relief bill, because we were walking into uncharted territory. We created things like the Paycheck Protection Program. We created ways to be able to assist behind the scenes. We even created a way to be able to help not-for-profits, knowing that if the not-for-profit sector collapsed, there's no way government could possibly keep up. Lots of work went into that in a bipartisan way to be able to resolve that. And that CARES Act stabilized our economy, $1.6 trillion. It was one of 5 bills that we passed in this body last year, all bipartisan. All of them us working together to try to find out what are the essential things we have to do, knowing every single dollar that was spent on COVID was not budgeted. Every single dollar is borrowed, all of it from last year, a total of $4 trillion. Now, only $3 trillion of what was actually allocated last year has actually been spent. There's still $1 trillion allocated in last year's 5 bills that's still unallocated, $1 trillion. Until this week, over the weekend, this body passed on a straight partisan vote, and then the House did the same to be able to add another $2 trillion to the spending for COVID-19. But this bill was different. There was no bipartisan conversation. In fact, 10 members of the Republican conference went to the White House and tried to sit down with President Biden and say, let's do a bipartisan issue. There are issues that are unresolved. But thankfully, we're on the backside of this pandemic. We're not at the same spot we were a year ago. We can now see the end. We know that we're going to have every adult have access to the vaccine by the end of May. The economy is turning around and things are shifting dramatically, thankfully. So let's do the things that we have to do now and keep the same commitment we had last year. Last year's commitment was simple. Do the things we have to do, knowing every dollar was borrowed, but not more than we have to do, because none of this is budgeted, none of this has gone through committees. Let's try to do what needs to be done and not more than what needs to be done. Till now. I've had some people ask questions of, could this bill have been better if we'd actually done it in a bipartisan way? It could have been significantly better. If you ask how I know that, it's because I saw the 5 bills we did last year, and they didn't have problems like this in it last year, because we worked it out together.